Hey guys, welcome back to another week of NFL Bell with Uncle Lou and special guest GordoGambles. Gordo, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the invite, my friends. I know we had a few war rooms because before you guys went professional and started doing this on the YouTubes. So it'll be nice to talk it up again, a bit more, professional atmosphere now that we're live. But it'll still be fun. You guys have been killing it. Appreciate you guys covering my ass last week while I was on vacation and taking care of some good spots that I did tail you guys on. So hopefully we do the same thing this week. My Bills are back. Should be fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Lou, how you doing?
I'm ready to murder it 3 weeks in a row. Doing
Yes,
the Triple Crown tonight. Did a DFS show, did a prop show for MMA on a card with Chase Sherman and Josh Parisian. And now ready to break down a sport that I actually know.
Don't forget Vidal.
Oh, how can you?
Yeah, I mean, it made me sick to tell Marley I have to roster this, but some good spots. The only thing that's a problem right now is the Phillies are getting no hit in a World Series.
Yeah, guys, if you didn't know, us three had war rooms pretty much from like week one on Zoom on like Saturday nights for like an hour and a half, similar to this show's setup, but a little bit more laid back. And the only difference is we had whiskey and alcohol involved. So I think that's the biggest difference. We're a little bit louder, a little bit more with the cussing. But let's get this one kicked off. I'm having the odds show up on the screen. Here we go. First game of the week, we have the Eagles at the Texans. Eagles are currently 14-point favorites. Gordo, go ahead and kick this one off.
Yeah, I'm not one who's too big of a fan of these 14-point spreads, especially on Thursday Night Football. I think this is the largest road spread of all time. I think I've seen something like that. Either way, it's a game where you have to expect the Eagles to win it. Is there any value there? No. I'm really struggling to find good angles in this spot. Again, I'm a DraftKings player at heart, so of course there's some plays I'll be looking at from the showdown slate side of things. But right now, there's nothing really that's looking towards me. I think that maybe an under in this spot, just in case the Eagles are able to hold the Texans to about nada. We've seen unders come through in prime time a bit, but not one I'm actively looking and just like trying to hammer a single spot, if I'm honest.
Fair enough. Lou, what do you think about this one?
Oh, I'm betting this game. Of course I'm betting this game.
Yeah.
So the angle that's been successful is the Eagles' second quarter, like all year. They're just absolutely demolishing teams. So second quarter line is -4. I'm all about it. I think it's fine. Houston team total under 15.5. I feel like it's safe. I don't think Houston can throw the ball. I don't think they can run the ball. I don't know what they can really do well offensively. But here's a cool prop bet I'm just going to throw out there because got to give the people what they want.
Oh, yeah.
So if the Eagles are dominating in this game, they should be able to run the ball like the whole second half. I mean, Tennessee just ran for 300 plus yards against Houston. The run defense is bottom 5 in the league. If it gets to that point, I'm targeting backup running backs here getting in the end zone. So Kenneth Gainwell at +310. I don't love the +310 for a guy that's maybe going to get like 6-7 snaps, like 6-7 carries. Kenneth Gainwell last touchdown at +1400 as my crazy weird bet for this because they're just going to run the ball the whole fourth quarter. They're going to pull all the starters if they're up big. And guys like Gainwell and Boston Scott should be getting a lot of work in the backfield, especially on a short week. So like Gainwell to score 3-1 is okay, but the 1400 for last touchdown, kind of intriguing to me. But second quarter -4 is the preferred play of the day. And that's it.
Cool. For me, the Eagles are a high priority teaser spot as they've been for the past couple of weeks. We haven't missed a single one of these. I do think that they're able to cover 7 fairly easily here. A prop that I'm looking at is AJ Brown's receiving yards. It's probably going to be closer to around 75. Oh, okay. Shorter than I was expecting. So 69.5. I think you can do that in 2 catches against the Texans. We saw last week. I know this might be an overreaction play to the view of the public, but AJ Brown has grown to be Jalen Hurts' favorite target, and it's very obvious. So I really like that prop, and that's it. I mean, Eagles first half team total over. We're gonna have to see what that number is because I think that hits at a high clip as well. Is that already?
I think it's 14.5. I think I looked at it and I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Like,
Now I know on some books you can buy up that first half spread. It might push it to minus 185, but to be honest, I don't see how they don't score at least 2 touchdowns in the first half here.
yeah,
Yeah, 14 and a half.
14.5. They know. They know. They're on to you.
Yeah, they're definitely on to me with this one, but I do think they covered that pretty easily. But I'll probably buy a point just to be 100% sure. Not as much of a sweaty look there. But you guys any comments about this game anymore?
Well, if you're on AJ Brown, are you going to be on his over on his longest reception as well at 25?
You know what? Possibly. You just brought that to my attention. I completely forgot that bet existed for a second. So yeah, that's probably going to be set at 25 and a half, just
Yep.
given the recent what's the word? I'm blanking out here. I need a sip of my coffee.
It is 25 and a half.
Oh, right on the number. Yeah. It's a sign. Yeah, I'll probably be on that. Cool.
Don't mind it.
Next game we got Chargers at Falcons. Lou, start us off.
Oh man. All right. Well, I love this game. Couple things of note that I wrote down. Mike Williams out for this game. Keenan Allen, not a guarantee for this game. There's something wrong with him as well. So you got, Eckler and Gordo's favorite player in the NFL, Gerald Everett, getting catches. Maybe this is a trap, but I love Atlanta outright. I love them with the points. I want to stay away from the total here. I was tempted. If you play the over, it's tricky now because Cordell Patterson's going to be back, I think. So Atlanta just going to be even run heavier than usual. I think they may go 3 backs rotating like the Eagles of old. They may do the 3-headed monster and 4 with Mariota. Atlanta's coming off like kind of a crazy ass win that, look, there's a momentum there. They're in first place in the NFC South, which is like, okay, sure. And 6-2 against the number, you can't really argue that. So, and you still got, look, we don't talk about this narrative enough, but it's still the West Coast team traveling at a 1:00 game. That used to be like the big trend when Uncle Lou was only 50. That was the trend that we all talked about. So all these things, give me Atlanta. I believe in the running game. I believe that the Chargers are going to have some problems throwing the ball because they ain't got many people to throw it to. So, yeah, I'm going to play Atlanta, and that's the only bet I'm going to make in that game.
All right. For this one, I don't like a side. I kind of feel like the over is a pretty good look. But something I like even more, mentioning that there's no Mike Williams and no Keenan Allen, is there's a hidden gem here. You forgot to name one person, Lou, and it's Josh Palmer.
Yeah, there's no props. There's no props out yet for any of the Sunday games. That's the problem.
Got you. So Josh Palmer has been getting a lot of love from Justin Herbert increasingly over the past 3 games. And the last game he had somewhere, I think it was 9 targets for 7 receptions. And now you're taking out Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. He's going to be the primary receiver. Besides, I mean, obviously Everett tight end, but he still is a fairly good pass catcher. I'm targeting Palmer here over yards, over receptions. I think those are 2 really solid looks. But other than that, I don't like anything else on the game. I'm not sure if Patterson is back in. I hope he is because I need him for fantasy. But Josh Palmer, take us home. Gordo.
Yeah. Again, for those who don't know, I am a DraftKings player before I was a sports bettor. So I'm on Palmer this week on DraftKings. I love the guy, and I do think he does very, very well. But another thing too, I have bet the Falcons over in almost every single game this year. I love betting over in their games. They just have they play a pretty high pace, but they also the over in all their games too. So I think the over 49 is set a bit too low here. I think it'd be for last week the Chargers. Their game total in itself was like 51. And you add in a defense like the Falcons and ones who are also able to make those big plays as well. I don't know. I've been liking what I've seen from the Falcons recently. So I do think that they're able to cover their end of the total here. It's up to the Chargers if they're able to do that with their offensive, let's say, injuries at this point. I do think that Eckler is able to get in there for one. I do think that this total should be hit, and I will be playing it just because it's a play I always make every week. Is both Chargers and Falcons overs, just because I love those overs there. Now, I did not know about Cordell Patterson. I do think that I might have to go back to the drawing board and looking at other props I might play on this game. Again, no player props out really for me to check into now, but I do like Palmer. I like the over in this game, but I'm not playing a side yet.
Makes sense. How can I forget the Eckler touchdown? It's automatic at this point.
It's got to be like, it's probably going to be like minus 180 this week, honestly. Like, especially with the injuries. I mean, it might be minus 200. Like, it seriously might be just, I don't want to say unbettable because it feels like free money. It really does. Like, but
I might have to put him into my 2+ parlay again. Did I tell you guys I hit another one of those last week? It's pretty fun.
You're kidding. Let's go. Yeah, if you guys didn't know,
Pollard, Henry, and Tamara.
Touchdown parlay. What? That was nuts. Dude,
it wasn't for the same odds this time. Not as good.
No, definitely 2+ parlay with Eckler in there to ground that parlay 100%. Anything minus 150 or under, I'm gonna hit that Eckler touchdown.
So. I don't think you're gonna get so lucky, but
we'll have to wait and see. My offshore bookies are kind of dumb when it comes.
I mean, good luck, dude. If your offshore bookie gives you even money, I'll just send you money.
Yeah,
I'll be like,
I will definitely let both of you know because hey, who wants free money? Eckler touchdown.
I'd be shocked if it was better than minus 180 on DraftKings because they're not the sharpest book, but they're sharp to shit like this. And just be careful if they're like special boost on Eckler. I'd be like, nope, no bet, fade.
Cool. Any other thoughts on this game?
Give me the over.
All right. Next up, we have the Dolphins at the Bears, with the Dolphins laying 5. I don't know if the Dolphins should be respected this much. They're not going to be integrating Jeff Wilson that quick and Bradley Chubb. I highly doubt it. To me, this is a pass. So, Gordo, go ahead.
Well, it's going to be a theme to those who don't know that I do like to bet overs way more than unders here. And we look at the trading away the key point of the Bears off defense last week or this week, and seeing how they were able to also keep up with Prescott last week as well. I do think that it's potential to go over. I know if you look into the Bears, usually you're playing the unders, but I'm liking the over in this spot. 45.5. The Dolphins have seemed to be clicking as always. That combination of Hill and Waddle is just too good. And with a depleted defense for the Bears now, especially after that trade, I do think that it's going to be even easier for the Dolphins. That being said, do I want to pick a side or do I just want to hope that's a high-scoring game? I might have to do that. I was going to look at Mostert props because I'm just like you. I don't think that Wilson's going to be integrated too easily. But with that being said, I do think that Justin Fields can keep up a bit. We know we love a good Canadian in me, and maybe Chase Claypool's able to do something. But we're going to take the over here, and not with as much confidence as the last one. But I do think it's set a bit too low for a depleted defense for the Bears and that high power offense for the Dolphins.
Fair enough. Luke?
I'm also on the over. Let me just say, I have no idea what the Bears' plan here is. Like trading away their good defensive guys and getting Claypool for their own draft pick and not the other second round pick they had. Like, I don't really know what they're doing, but don't really matter, I guess, in the long run. I love the over here. I think Miami's going to be good for 30. One thing that's really good about Chicago, they're great at garbage time points. Like, it's weird because they're like, hey, we don't have any plays left to call. So Fields just drop back and kind of do stuff. And that's when he's not bad because he's like, all right, now I can just kind of be creative. I'm not stuck to a game script. And he shows that he's got talent. And look, I don't think his receivers are anything to write home about. I think Mooney's okay. Pettis is these are tolerable CFL level receivers. Komet, he doesn't even throw anymore. But, Montgomery's been all right. Khalil Herbert's been DFS and betting gold for me. So and he's getting more and more carries a week. He's in the passing game. So, look, I think Miami should win. I don't like the -5. I can't give you a really good quantitative reason. There's something about this number where I'm like there's something holding me back. But the thing is if I think it's going to be a close game, it's because Chicago's going to put points on the board against this horrendous Miami secondary. So give me the over here. And I think this over hits in the third quarter. Like, I don't even think this one's close. I mean, Detroit, who has like Swift was banged up, Ross St. Brown was banged up. I mean, they just, I was like the first 5 possessions, just they're mowing down the field on Miami. I mean, Miami, like, only when Detroit became super predictable could Miami get a stop. So I'm not sold on Miami's defense at all. So I think this over smashes, and I think it's probably 4 or 5 points too low.
You guys are talking me into this over because
Good. Do it. Do it.
I definitely can see the case for the Bears scoring in garbage time. And another thing I just thought about is against this garbage secondary of the Dolphins, Mooney should have yards like at a ridiculous rate. By far, Fields' favorite receiver.
You should have 1,000 yards by now.
Yeah,
Like, you
he
should.
literally is just getting balls chucked to. Well, it's gonna sound really weird. He's getting balls chucked to him down the field. So, realistically, though, I would be interested to see how I can get a live entry on his over in the yards if they don't do too well in the first quarter, just to get like a reduced number. But yeah, I do like the Mooney over on yards now that we're talking about it.
Are there any TD props you think you like here? Because they make it really difficult with, like, is it a Waddle game or is it a Hill game? And they don't give
Exactly.
you a good enough price. It's like each one's like even money. Gordo seems to be.
You know what? I've been playing. I've been playing the Tua over touchdowns. He hit that in like the first quarter last week, and I do think that he could do it here again. I know I talked about Mostert props, but when you got Hill and Waddle out there, that over 1.5 pass touchdown isn't bad.
I can see it. I
Yeah,
can see it.
150 is not too bad for that either.
Yeah.
And Mostert can catch too. It's not like Mostert can't get one in the red zone, like on a receiving touchdown. So
Yeah, he's a good receiving running back. All right. I think we covered that one pretty well. Talking about the CFL, we're gonna be moving to the XFL here with the Panthers at the Bengals, Mr. PJ Walker, who has been a gem for the Panthers. Way better than Baker Mayfield, that's for sure. Gordo, why don't you start us off here?
Sorry, I can't believe I didn't have the Bills hat on. Okay. Panthers, another team that this game is actually the hardest one for me to tell. And I've played the over in the Panthers game last week. I was happy to see their offensive production, but the Bengals didn't look right to me. And I think that although they should win this game, I think that 7.5 is a bit wide. I don't know if I'm going to get there yet. I was actually looking at, again, this is going to sound crazy. And for the record, I have not placed a bet, and I don't really plan to on this game. But if the offense is going to keep playing for the Panthers the way they have been, 42.5 isn't terrible. That being said, I'm probably the worst one to ask about this one because I don't really have a strong take on it. But gut feeling is saying Panthers cover and the overhits.
All right, Luke.
I'm not going to bet aside. I do lean like for the sake of the show, I'd pick the Panthers to cover. Carolina's coming off just like an inconceivable, mind-blowing loss, and Cincinnati is coming off being absolutely humiliated on a shorter week. So, like, I don't really have an interest in the side. There is a bet that I will like when it comes out if it's reasonable, and this is just the bet I make against Cincinnati every single week. It's whatever Carolina's team total and sacks is. Cincinnati just cannot protect Burrow right now. Their offensive line is like Old Dominions like level of like they just cannot do anything right. They can't run block for Mixon. They can't pass block. I mean, Joe Burrow is getting absolutely creamed back there by teams with any semblance of a pass rush. And if there's one thing Carolina does over the years, it's pass rush, like constantly, even to their own detriment, where they just pass rush. It's like, oh, we forgot to cover everybody. We thought it was a punt. Like we just sent 10. Like the thing is I imagine this total is going to be 2.5 at like minus 110, minus 120. It's going to be reasonable. And again, just the way, and Burrow, it's not just that the line's bad. He's holding the ball too long. Now he doesn't have Jamar Chase. We saw last week he didn't really use Mike Thomas. We were all talking about that prop, and he did not use Mike Thomas at all. You know, he's only looking for T. Higgins or the home run shot to Boyd. He did target Hurst, but he's holding the ball too long. And I think, and he's starting to Mixon a lot more now. Like Mixon's just almost like he's half his targets. Like he's half his touches are targets now in the receiving game. So I don't want to side, but that team total and sacks feels like a must. Every Bengals game, it just feels like a must.
I don't disagree there. I do like the Brian Burns 2+ sacks. It's going to be like a plus money, probably plus 350-ish, 3 or 400 in that range. One of my favorite pass rushers in the league at the moment. And if you were to point a gun to my head and say you have to pick a side, I'm gonna have to say the Bengals as a low tier teaser spot, but that's it. Like, not as a regular spread, because the way this offensive line has been playing, I know we've been harping on it for a little bit. The way this offensive line has been playing is just absolutely horrendous, and Joe Burrow can't get a couple seconds to save his life. He was not as mobile in the last game as he usually is, so that could be a factor. But I know one of your favorite players, Lou, T motherfucking Higgins.
T motherfucking Higgins.
I wouldn't count him out for a big day here. Just getting a touchdown and 70, 80 yards.
If I start him in DFS, he won't do anything. I'm just letting you know. I'll let you know if I decide to throw him in like my single entry. If I do, just don't play him. He's dead. Like, he's toast. He'll get 3 catches for 14 yards.
Hey, he still got the touchdown last week.
I know you hated it, but I'm like,
hey, it's fine. He didn't make me lose my week in fantasy, so I'm good. I'm good with that.
Let me what was I going to ask you here about a player prop? Never mind. I can't think of it.
Yeah, but to be honest, that's all I had, because this game just screams throw up to me.
It's 2 outs away from a no-hitter, by the way.
Yeah, I have it on
my
screen.
Fucking Jesus. Like, this is why we can't have nice things, man. It's like Phillies on the rise. Phillies get no hit. Like,
they need mushroom in attendance.
No, they stopped serving food after the after the 6th inning. So, like, he's got nothing, unless he's getting stuff to go. Oh, all right, what do we got next?
Next up, we got the Packers at the Lions. Lou, start us off.
So we were talking about this right before we came on the show. I think this total is so high. This total is trying. I wonder if they're looking at it like, well, Green Bay's offense did better last week against the Bills, but they did. Like, this game was over. Like, the Bills just were like, we don't care anymore. Like, in the second half, they totally took their foot off the gas, let Green Bay score some garbage time points. And Detroit, every game Detroit plays is like a hilarious track meet because their offense has been good. But if you look at the best 2 units in this game, I think it's Green Bay's defense, which is, like, seriously the only thing saving Green Bay from being a winless team right now. And it's Detroit's offense. But Jair Alexander is going to be on Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're going to have to adjust to being without Hawkinson, who Wiz and I have debated how elite he is, but I'm not saying he's not good. And he's certainly like a huge asset to Detroit in the run game and the passing game. Swift is banged up again. Is Swift playing? I don't believe he's playing this week.
He is playing, but he's still in a limited role. What up,
so how is Detroit going to really move the ball? And on the flip side, who the hell's Green Bay throwing to? It's Dobbs, it's Lazard, and it's
Bunyan.
And like, I mean, as bad as Detroit's defense has been, still a divisional game. You still get up for this. Honestly, their defense against Minnesota wasn't terrible when they played. They kind of got a little bit of bad luck when St. Brown went down, and then Minnesota scored 2 at the end. But, I mean, honestly, this is like a 21-17 game for me. I'd lean Detroit to cover if I had to, but, like, it's still Detroit, and, like, I'm not sold on them like a big, but Green Bay has just been a total fade for me, and Green Bay just cannot put up points this year. I don't care who they're playing against. So I think this number is way too high, and I will gladly take the under here. Yeah. I have no props. If I'm going to do the under, like, I just want no part of props.
I tend to agree. Whenever I play unders, I don't usually want to have any player props unless it's an under on a prop, and I usually don't like hitting unders all that often unless it's under in the runs in the first inning. But
Murphy.
I kind of like the over in this game, but not enough to get to the window. The reason being, both defenses are just horrible. I know the offenses aren't that great either, but the trend this season in the NFL is whenever it's just 2 trash defenses and offenses, they hit the over more often than not. And in this game, I definitely could see it going over uh, even like 55. I do think it's set a little bit low. But am I getting to the window? Probably not, just for the sake of my mental sanity, because I don't want to be watching this game. It could be like a freaking fireworks show with people scoring left and right, or it's just going to be really boring. And I'm just not willing to put some coin there. So yeah, it's a pass for me. What about you, Gordo?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, and I rather like I hate betting unders, and I hate it. I've only bet one under all year, and it was week 1. It was Bears San Fran, and the only reason I bet it was because there's a monsoon in the grass there. But yeah, if I had to play anything on this game, which I don't want to, is going to be the under for the team total for the Lions. And because for me, I have this weird feeling that although the Packers have been struggling as much as they have, I do think that they're able to get stuff done today. The team total is at 22.5 for the Lions. I don't mind that. I also think that DFS side of thing, I'm looking at Jones. I do think that Jones is able to, you know what, get some stuff done here. It's hard not to like the running backs against Detroit or like any of the offense against Detroit, but I do think he's been doing well recently. And I don't know. Oh, they do have lines out. What is his rush and receiving? Yes, it's at 93. Okay, it's a bit higher than I expected, but still, if they are going to win this game, I do think it does decent. Either way, I was going to pass from it from anything other than really a under on the Detroit Lions team total, but nothing really that appealing to me right now. You're muted.
You're muted.
Muted.
Noob.
Shame on me. Shame on me. Next up, we have Colts at the Patriots, and I guess it's a trend on this show when it's my turn to go first. I'm just gonna be passing again. So yeah, this is a pass. I don't like anything here whatsoever. So Gordo, take the lead.
I don't like betting the New England games. I don't do it. I would like to see when the props open up because the whole Jonathan Taylor not practicing thing, without Hines there too, is going to be Deion Jackson once again. So it's one where from a DraftKings side of things, is he, even though he's $5,200, if he doesn't play, is he going to do well against New England? I don't know. I haven't really had great success betting with or against the Colts this year, and they're actually on the no bet list. So we're gonna pass once again. But I'm interested to see how it goes down.
Fair enough. Lou, what you got?
And the Phillies just got no hit. Crazy. Well, I will have as many bets on this game as Phillies got hits tonight. I will have 0 bets on this game.
Great.
I do not trust the Patriots. I certainly do not trust. We talked about this last week, how Sam Ellinger just cost me so much goddamn money for 4 years at Texas, or however many, or 6 years, or however long he played there. It felt like an eternity. I think he was a quarterback after Vince Young. I swear he was there for like 18 years, just spewing money. I cannot trust him. They just fired their offensive coordinator. This team is just in these, and this is a team that like beat the Chiefs. So I don't know, man. But this team is in complete shambles. I can't trust them. And New England doesn't seem to really know who they want to start a quarterback. His totals, I mean, I thought it was 39.5 last I looked. It's at 40. I mean, there's no part of this game, which means this will be the game that John Hanson shows the most, whatever his name is, Hanson, not John Kelly, shows the most on Red Zone on Sunday. Like, this will be the game that just gets the most attention. Unless Kenny Pickett's like, oh, look, Kenny Pickett like combed his hair. Let's show him for 5 minutes. Like, oh, look, Dak, he's filing his nails. Let's show him for 5 minutes. But yeah, we can move on. What's the next game?
Fair enough. Next, we got Gordo's team, Bills at Jets, and it's only fair. Gordo, lead us off.
I love the Bills, but here's the way: I don't bet on them. I can't do it, man. I can't do it because I can't have heartbreak for my favorite team losing and lose money at the same time. That would just suck. I did it last year. Who were they playing when they broke my heart? Oh, against the Titans last year when they did it. I had some money on their team total against the Dolphins as well. Whenever I do, it doesn't go well. So I'm not betting this game from a side of things. In fact, I'd actually look toward maybe even the under if I had to pick anything, which is weird because it's a Bills game. I do see them doing a decent job defensively against the Jets, but Who knows? I would not touch this fight, and I'm going to leave it to the experts here, and I'm going to be a fanboy. And you know what? I'm going to watch the game. In fact, I was going to look into like touchdown prop stuff as well, but I'm not going to touch this one at all. And if you guys see my post this weekend or this week, yeah, and you see me with anything to do with this game, I get a slap on the wrist, or I need to get something, because I can't do it again. I can't have a team this beautiful and with this much of a 12.5-point spread break my heart again.
The struggle is real.
The struggle, man. I can't do it.
You said you said you were passing on this fight, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, I've been talking about UFC 264 way too much, man. I'd rather watch the Bills play against my high school football team than watch a few of those fights. But I don't know why I said fights.
Go for it, Lou.
So I have two things in my notes. First half -6.5, and Wilson stinks. This is all I wrote down for this one. Yeah, the number. I don't like betting spreads like this in the NFL. I don't mind it in college, but in the NFL, it just too many weird things can happen back to, especially a road team being almost 2 scores. Bills were -12 last week. Saw what happened. Like, it's just in the pros, it's just a very hard number to cover. First half under a touchdown seems okay, but I don't know if I'm going to get there. I hate the Jets with every fiber in my being. So I'm cool not betting it and watching the Bills win 96-0. And all my Jets friends who were talking about the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago are going to be like, I mean, this is a rebuilding year. I'd be like, oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah. Beating Denver 2-0. You thought you were going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. No, you are not. So,
did you see the line on the on the Wilson interception?
No.
It's -250
for just one pick.
Yes.
I mean, I just don't know. The thing is forget about who he has to throw to. I mean, I watched him in college, and I told my friends, I'm like, you're getting a false bill of goods with this guy. There were so many talks about how his teammates at BYU just couldn't stand the guy. They're like, he's not a leader. He's kind of just not a dude you want to deal with in the locker room. I don't know, man. The next thing you hear is banging his mom's friend. So everything you hear about the guy, you know what you don't hear? That he's getting better. He's not making a leap. ESPN had an article about all 5 guys from last year that have none of them have progressed. Trevor Lawrence hasn't progressed. Fields hasn't progressed. Wilson's the worst of the 5. Yeah, the team around him's not good, but you see some of the picks he threw last week. I mean, he was throwing you could be playing Madden and not do this. He was trying to step out of bounds, and instead of winging it out of bounds, throws it over the middle of the field. I don't know what you're doing. Matt Judon just had a field day. It's okay. You want to pad my stats? Awesome. So yeah, Bills first half are nothing for me. Their team total's 14.5. Wiz, I looked at that one too. They're fucking on to us. They know what we're trying to. Somebody's watching the show. They're not giving us these 13.5s. I mean, the Bills could hit the 14.5, but I don't know, man. I'm just gonna avoid it in a divisional game here, I think.
Yeah, for me, this is the second high priority teaser spot. Obviously, I mean, it's a high spread game.
10-pointer, right?
No,
Just
7.
6. Okay.
7
okay.
to 6, either or. I think they covered pretty easy. And then first half team total, I'll take the 14.5. One thing that stood out to me is Diggs is going to be covered by Sauce Gardner, who is actually really good. He's one of my favorite up and coming corners in the NFL. So I'm looking toward the Gabe Davis touchdown here. Whatever that number is, it's probably going to be a plus 170, 180 kind of line.
That sounds about right. They have so many weapons now; it's going to get trickier.
Yeah, that's my only issue with it. But I don't see a world where every person on this offense gets a touchdown to that game, because
I know who Gordo is going to pick. It doesn't matter. Gordo's going to go Dawson. He's going to go Dawson Knox touchdown.
No,
that's a Gordo play.
I do not. I bet that once.
I used to bet it every game last year. I love that play, dude.
Yes.
I love the dog. Now he can't even get a look. It's crazy.
You know what though? Did you guys see the trade I made today?
No,
I don't know how that freaking happened, but that's a solid trade.
Yeah, but I traded away Dawson Knox today, which means he's going to go off.
All right, see, that's good to know.
Possibly.
That's insider info you can't get anywhere else on the internet.
You know what? I also acquired someone we'll probably talk about shortly that I hope does very, very well, but I know he's not going to do very well. So we'll see if that luck continues. And again, side note, just so I get my ranting out of the way about this fantasy football league. First of all, Lou, thanks for the win. I appreciate you.
So
Number
my
two,
team is called Free Win at this point. So
do you guys see how many points I have against? I have like 100 more points against than anybody else in the league, man. It's awful, but that's okay.
they're not
that's what you
they're
get.
not from me.
They're not from you, man. That's how I knew I needed the rebuild, was when our series was kind of close.
I'm getting the
Yeah,
first pick. I'm getting the first pick next year.
You better. All right, rant over.
Next up, we have the Vikings at the Commanders, and Lou, I think you have to go first here.
All right. Well, I got a lot to say about this one. This is the trappiest shit ever in this game. Like, I'm not going to bet, but if I was going to make a play, and for the sake of the show, Wiz, he's our boy, Heineke, man. The guy just wins. He finds ways to win with this terrible team. The narrative side is this whole thing, like Daniel Snyder might sell the team. I don't think the players give a shit, but it does need to be noted because it's going to be in Washington. The crowd might be lively. Minnesota right now, after making the move for Hawkinson, they're going to have a lot of public steam. Like, I'd be surprised if this line closed right now. It's minus 3.5, minus 105, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got up to 4.5 over the weekend, or at least a minus 120 attached to the 3.5. Man, this is just so. Doesn't something like rub you the wrong way about this number? Is there something just like they're begging you to take Washington at the moment, but then it's there's something wrong with this number to me. Even the total, like Minnesota's defense isn't really that good. Their offense should be able to score on the Commanders. I'm totally laying off this game for the sake of the show, though. I'm going to say Washington money line just because Heineke is like, guy's just a winner, man. Like, if this game's within a touchdown in the fourth quarter, Washington's going to win. Like, this is a good live bet game, actually, now that I say that. If Washington's close, like in the fourth, they're an interesting live bet because that's when Heineke he's like, okay, I'm ready to have my one good drive. He had two good, look what he did the Indy last week. Played a horrible game, then he's like, let's go. I'm ready to win. If it's a close game, I wouldn't bet against him here, but no bet pregame for me here. I can't.
It would be a good live bet if it's within a touchdown in the fourth quarter, but
he's doing stuff. No shit.
Bet of the week.
No shit.
Vikings -3 by the half.
Jesus Christ. Why? I need to hear it.
Z, that's why. Dude, multiple things. A, Washington defense is freaking garbage. That's the biggest thing. I think they're going to get thrown on like for 300-400 yards. It's going to be the game of Kirk Cousins' life. That's one thing. Second thing, Commanders cannot stop the run to save their life. And I think Dalvin Cook is going to have a field day. I could see Dalvin Cook being one of those players that you can anchor in a 2-touchdown parlay, because the Commanders just can't stop. Actually, they can't stop anything. Justin Jefferson's probably not going to get a touchdown again. He hasn't gotten a touchdown since week 1.
Of course he's not. He's going to have 200 yards. We're not going to have a touchdown.
Yeah. He's going to have 200 yards, and they're just going to give it to Dalvin Cook at the 10-yard line. He's going to run it in. I don't see how the Commanders have a chance of winning this game, let alone covering this spread. I know Taylor Heineke's a dear soul to the show because we've been so good at predicting his past couple games, but I think this is where it stops, and I think the Vikings really step up and show their true identity here. So
you said you're going to take it at -3, right?
Hell yeah, brother!
You want to do a shoey?
I would love to.
Oh.
Right.
Air shake me.
Now I have action on the game. This
All
is my only action I'm going to have is the shoey.
All right.
I'll take Washington +3. If this is a push, we both do a shoey.
Okay, I'm down for that too.
Got to make sure somebody
No.
does a goddamn shoey.
If it's a push,
if
I do a shoey.
if it's a push, Gordo
Gordo
does
does
the
a shoey.
shoey. All right, Gordo, air shake.
Yep.
All right, Gordo's doing a shoey. If it, I mean, I kind of want it to be. Now I kind of want it to fall on 3, and it just.
All
He's
three
like,
of us do the
he's gonna be
shoey.
like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, how the hell did
How did I get roped into
He's
this?
like, how did literally the only way I could have lost this bet happen? Like, if this goes to overtime, Wiz and I are gonna be like, come on, I'll be rooting for Minnesota field. I'll be like, come on, mini field goal. Like, take the push, take the push. And then you're like, yeah, come on, field goal.
Cool, yeah, but that's the only bet I'll probably have on the game. Just the spread. Gordo, what do you think?
Well, it's funny you say Justin Jefferson's not going to get a touchdown because that's just who I traded for. So the man better get a touchdown. No, I know he hasn't gotten it, and I traded for him, and which means he's not going to get any for the next like 18 weeks. It's okay. I'm going to sound like a broken clock here, but man, I like the over in this one. This is the last one where I'm on the over, so don't you worry. But I am on the over in the spot right here. Lou said it himself. Heineke wins games, but if you're going to want to beat the Vikings, you're going to need to keep up with them. I don't think they're going to be able to stop them. I think that adding Hawkinson is going to open up the field for Jefferson, which is my thought, at least as a biased owner of him on fantasy. I think that all these different assets they have allows for the Vikings to throw all over them. And I do think that in doing so, if the Commanders want to keep up, they're able to do so. I do think that 43.5 is way too low. If I had to pick a side, I'm on the Vikings here. I think that I'm not as confident. I throw on the money shades to support you.
Well, you're on the Vikings for one bet for sure now.
Yeah, I technically am. Yeah. I think that if we're looking at a teaser spot, I don't think the Vikings lose this game by more than a field goal. I think the only way that they lose this game is by like a last second push by Heineke, who needs to get a field goal to win it. I think that it's the Vikings game to lose is what I'm trying to say. Either way, I'm taking the over. I might take some Jefferson props at where they open up just to hurt myself even more emotionally. But I do think it's going to be a fun game. I wouldn't mind to see the passing yards for Cousins because I do think he has opportunities to throw. We'll have to see. It'll be a good game, but I am on the over here.
All right. By the way, I will recap all this at the end of the show real quick for people. I'm writing all of it down.
You're writing it down?
Of course. I'm old school, man. I'm writing it all down. I got my notes.
Okay. I'm an old man now. Now I'm 21.
I told you I had three pages of notes for this turd card on Saturday. I have to write the merits of, Vidal and Ramona Pasquale and why, I had to script it all out. Like I think went through 18 pens and 7 ibuprofen.
The only thing I'll be writing you is a check for a share of the soccer money you make me over the past couple of years.
Yeah, man.
Next up, we
only got one game left. We got your boys.
Oh, poor soul.
Who's on
I bet them with you.
Is this you, Wiz, or this would be fitting if it was you?
It is.
Right. We didn't do this on purpose. Like this is just the way it works out. Like,
you know what? The trend continues, and I will be passing on this game. I know. It's okay. I usually bet these Raider games. I think I'm off this bandwagon now after last week's freaking horrendous game.
Yeah.
They are really inconsistent, and they're hard to read. I don't know if they're going to be lights out, completing every pass. Derek Carr looks like an MVP caliber quarterback, or he just looks like a 6th round draft pick who doesn't know how to throw and just gets sacked over and over again. So keep me out of this. I continue the trend of passing on my turn. So Gordo, go for it.
Yeah, I bet the Raiders last week, and I don't know if it's like overcompensation for betting on the Raiders, but I like the Jaguars here, and I haven't got to the window yet. I think that if we look at a best bet for this, I'm on Engram for DraftKings purposes. So I'd like to be interested to see where his receiving yard line comes out because he's been looking like a pretty good option out there. Last week, the only bet I had on the Jaguars game, which was the morning game, was I was just all over Etienne props. However, they are opened here, and he's got 103 for rushing and receiving yards. It's a little higher than I'd like it to be, but I do think that he's been such a focal point of the offense. It's not bad. With that being said, The lean right now is the Jaguars. What I like to do when I'm on this edge here is hear what you guys got to say. So Wiz is out. It's all up to Lou to tell me if he's going to help me with this one. But I do like Engram props when they walk out, and he will be a nice target of mine on DraftKings.
I ain't helping you with shit because I'm totally off this game, brother. I'm with Wiz. I don't want any part of this one. I mean, the only bet I got wrong last week was on the show. I said Las Vegas team total, and then I pivoted to the game over. Well, it didn't matter. Like, it didn't matter which one you went with. Like, the score 0, and I can't really trust. I don't know how you trust Jacksonville at this point. So like if you want to talk about the range of outcomes in this game, this could be 7-3. It could be 42-39. Either nothing would. It could be 31-0 either way. Like, there's nothing that would surprise me at this point. Like, Josh Jacobs could have anywhere between 180 yards and 2, and I just don't know anymore. Like, so
depends if we bet on him.
I don't want any part of this game. Devonta Adams is I don't know what the fuck's going on with him. Like, I don't know why Jordan Vandersloot can't throw to him. Like, it's crazy to me that famed serial killer Jordan Vandersloot cannot get him the ball. But I am completely off this game. I will say this to you also, Gordo. I don't care if Engram catches every ball the next 5 weeks. Wiz will agree. He's a bum. That guy's a bum. He'll always be a bum. He was a bum for the Giants. He's dead to me. He's no Kevin.
He's dead.
He's no Kevin Moss.
He's so cheap, man.
He so probably is.
Because he's a cheap sloop.
He is cheap, son of a bitch, as the Iron Sheik would say. I just hate the guy because he sucked for us. And I think he dropped, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think he had 93 drops in one Eagles game where any one of them would have sealed the game away. And he dropped every single pass. It was crazy how many passes he dropped.
Yeah, that game hurt my soul.
But if he's going to be it looks like, I will say, it looks like Lawrence is using him a lot in the passing game now. He is getting a lot of targets, much like we didn't talk about Kyle Pitts before, but Pitts is starting to get tons of targets. Like, they're starting to get a rapport there. So he does look like he's starting to get a rapport with Engram as his safety valve. So, I mean, look, if his number's low, what did you say it was?
It's not out yet. That's what I'm saying. What would you think it'd be out at?
It's right here. It's 40.5.
No way. I do not have it. Is this Canada? This is a Canada problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely
this is
Canada.
Canada. I mean, 40.5. I hate to say
it.
That kind of sounds about right. All right.
He hit 40 on the dot on one of them. So 3.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, that's a good number then. But it is shaded slightly. Minus 115. Like all these rip-off props, they know you want to bet. So, I mean, his under's minus 115 too. So, thanks, guys.
What I will say is, if I'm thinking of betting the Jaguars, why don't I just take Engram? Because you have to think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, they don't win without him doing anything.
Yeah.
Unless Etienne just gets 290 yards.
Interesting.
I don't want any part of that. Have fun, Gordo. I don't want any part of this one.
Do I back my French guy once again?
Or Gordo, do we back the old reliable
Josh Jacobs?
Nope.
What do you want, dude? What do you want?
Devontae Adams touchdown.
Oh, yes.
Reliable week 1 to week 3.
Reliable. Maybe. Probably. I haven't looked at it.
That's the only thing I could think of in this game, to be honest.
You know what? I haven't bet on him since we did videos together. Since we did, I haven't done them with you in a couple of weeks. I've been away.
Me neither.
Maybe it's time to bet. Maybe it's time to bet him then.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Because we're back together. It's just a staple. How could I forget?
I think this is the time. Yeah.
What's the line? Is it out? I mean,
no.
Canada.
They don't have any touchdown props on draft.
To be honest, it's probably going to be around close to even because he hasn't had touchdowns in the past 2 games. I want to say 2 or 3 games, but for sure 2.
3. I just looked it up.
Okay, there we go.
All right, we've covered 1 o'clock slate. Wiz, what do we got next?
Next we have Seahawks at Cardinals. So Lou, I think it's only fair that this goes to you because I know this was one of your biggest bet this year, the last time out when they played.
I had the under last week. I hammered it, which was terrible because I'm like,
now. Oh no! I'm talking about the over.
Oh, against the Saints.
No, it was It was the same exact matchup.
Oh,
Seahawks.
this is the one
Last
I
time they played.
lost. Oh,
When me and you
yeah.
both hammered the over.
Oh,
I was with you guys there.
yeah. What's funny is I've been really good on Seattle games other than that one. But I'm taking Seattle money line here. It seems trappish. I just don't care. I know Hopkins is back, but man, Seattle just looks. Geno Smith doesn't make mistakes. They look pretty legit. Arizona is just such a bad team in the first half, and they only ever get bailed out when Murray just starts making plays. But Seattle's defense is playing a little better. Walker's playing really well. Tyler Lockett's coming off an absolutely unlike him absurd drop in that game where you could not be more wide. There was nobody on the screen and he just dropped an easy touchdown. So I could see him having like a monster game. Nothing about Arizona impresses me. And I'm surprised that Seattle's +2 here. I kind of thought they should be even or even a small favorite the way they're playing, but the books are just giving Murray and Hopkins a lot of respect. And I'm going to take the money line. I want no part of the total. None.
Fair enough. Gordo.
Yeah, I can't get that image of that game out of my head. It was such a good week until I hammered the over. I typically like to bet the over in Seahawks games. I typically like to bet the over in Cardinals games. And that is where I think I would lean to if I had to play one. But I have not got there yet. I think that this is a different game this time around. Hopkins has shown that he can just open up so much. And Seahawks, they play to what they have. If they have to go for it, they will go for it. They're going to keep it close, right? So I'm not sure. Was Walker the back the last time they played?
No.
He's been explosive out there. I do think that it's going to help to cover those third downs. Didn't they not convert on a single third down for a while in that last game? I don't know. I still think that the over is the way to go in my opinion. However, it's just no fun when you get burned on it once, right? It just takes a lot of the fun out of it. So the pick is the over. I'm not picking a side. There are only 2 teams in the no bet list, and it's the Colts and the Cardinals because just don't ask. But I'm not going to be picking a side, but if I had to, it'd be the over.
I should tell you that we were wrong. Walker was, in fact, the running back of record in that game. That must have been the first game after the injury, and he had 97 yards and a tutter. But also of note, Michael Dixon, their punter, had 1 carry for -10 yards.
Interesting.
thought I'd throw that out there, but that must have been the first game after the injury. Maybe it was the Detroit game that he hurt himself.
Yeah,
I think that might have been the game, but this is the first game.
It was.
I'm actually shocked that he was I think I've tried to just block that game out of my memory as best as possible. So forgive me, anybody watching that I got this. At least I rectified it immediately and looked, but yeah, I've tried to forget that game ever happened. I'm still waiting for the over to hit weeks later. If they're still playing, they might hit it right now. But
I think in this game, I'm with you, Lou, on the Seattle side. I'm probably going to be playing that one for a unit and a half, just nothing too crazy.
Good teaser piece too.
It is a good teaser piece. If you want to do a same game teaser, I think the over and Seattle is probably the way to go, and that's probably what I'll get to. I think this time around it's a little bit of a different game with Hopkins in. I think Cardinals can actually move the ball a little bit more, just opening up a passing lane. And now that Walker has more confidence, I think he also goes off here too. So yeah, the Seahawks as a side and the over only in a teaser piece is probably the way to go for me. Other than that, complete pass. I don't like any player props here just because I feel like Seattle spreads the ball out pretty well, and the Cardinals also Cardinals just hand it off to they throw it to Hopkins a lot. So
I heard Snoop Connor's brother plays for Arizona. I knew you'd like that. Snoop Connor. Get Snoop on the show, bro. Snoop Connor, God. If you're listening, come on the show. Break some bets down with us.
Anyways, next up we have Rams at Bucks. This one for me is a complete pass. So Gordo, I'm gonna pass it to you.
Was this your turn again? Man, you really do pass on your turn all the time, eh?
We actually set this up weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know how this is happening.
Interesting. Well, I respect it. I can't really look at. Oh, he's gone. That's okay. I can't really look at this too much until I see if Cup's playing or not. He didn't practice today. Not a good sign. But can you really trust the Buccaneers at any point at all? They're not the team that you thought they would be. The Rams. I don't know. Either way, this is kind of a tough game for me to bet. I would look more so at touchdown props because one day, we don't know what day it's going to be, but one day Tom Brady is going to be like, I'm back, bitches. Like this is my time.
Yeah, you keep I'm with you. I keep thinking it, and then
But it just doesn't happen. So I have not bet the Buccaneers recently, and I do not plan on doing so. I just don't think it is a good financial advice to back this team right now. So in this spot, especially when Cup is questionable, if he's not practicing today, he could be a bit limited as well. Rams are going to struggle, and I got to stay away from this game.
right. I am also going to completely stay away from this game with the caveat.
Really?
With the caveat of one of my favorite things to play on DraftKings is tiers, doing the tiers contest for NFL. And I don't know how they're going to do it this week because there's only 2 4 o'clock games. So I don't know if it's going to be a 2-game set for tiers. They do it in basketball where it is sometimes, but they typically, if they're going to do it, they may throw in the primetime game. So the problem is I'm going to be forced to look at people in this game for tiers, which means I'm just going to blindly fire on Tyler Higbee, I'm sure. But Cup being not limited this week is something to monitor. I still have no faith in Allen Robinson. I don't trust him at all. I have no trust in Henderson. And on Tampa's side, like I can't trust anybody on that side because they get hurt. Like Fournette's not effective anymore, so it's a pass for me betting wise. So it looks like we all passed, and we can move on to the night game, if you will, which is Kansas City
Titans at Chiefs.
Titans at Chiefs, and this is Gordo, I think, right?
Yes, sir, Gordo.
Titans and Chiefs. Well, I passed on the last one, so I got to give something here. The night game. The spread for me is, guys, I actually have done the least research on this game, if I'm being completely honest, because I'm a DraftKings player and this is not in the DraftKings slate. But on first glance, without me doing the deep dive that these two beautiful men above and below me have done, you have to think that the Chiefs, it's their game to lose. They're at home. Teaser spot, to quote Wiz. I can't say that with too much conviction. I apologize for not doing my research beforehand. I'll give myself a slap on the wrist, but I'm going to have to defer to you guys.
Lou.
Yeah, so we don't really know with Tannehill yet. He's limited in practice. It's trending toward, actually, they don't really know, but they said he's like showing some good signs. But like, let me say, even if it's Malik Willis here, I'm taking the 12.5. Vrabel traditionally has been pretty good against his team. It's a ton of points. Pat Mahomes does not cover these spreads very well in his career. Pat Mahomes, like any kind of number that's above 9.5, I don't have his exact numbers, but he's bad. He's sub 500. Tennessee's defense is starting to play a little better. They've been decent against the run, which unfortunately is maybe not what you want against the Chiefs. But I feel like you're going to know if you won this bet in the first 15 minutes. Either the Chiefs are just going to be up 21-0 early, or it's going to be like 3-3 and Tennessee is going to hang in there. So I'd love to say I'm not going to bet this game, but I'm betting it because it's the night game, unless it's game 7 of the World Series. And then I just don't care. Like I will have no interest in this game at all, but give me Tennessee to cover. I think if you tease it either way, you probably are right. I think Tennessee at plus 19.5. I'd feel safe there. If you took the Chiefs less than a touchdown, that's probably all right. The total's Chiefs dependent. There's no race. The legendary race of McMath is still not on the field. So it will still be down to a bunch of people like Travis Henry and others that are not racing McMath to get it done. But I think Tennessee can kind of slow the game down. They can grind the clock out. They can run a lot. And I think they can hang in this number. I 14.5 would be a little nicer, but 12.5 should be okay on what is, by the way, going to be a very windy night. So field goals may be at a premium here as well. That's all I got.
Yeah, I kind of like where you were going with the teaser spots on either side being probably the right way to play this. I would probably lean towards the Chiefs side in case they actually blow the Tennessee Titans off. So all I have here is the Chiefs as another high priority teaser piece. So that's the third one of the night and probably the final teaser spot. I do like Derrick Henry yards just because the Chiefs have historically just been horrible against the rush. So Derrick Henry yards, Derrick Henry touchdown is also a solid look in case I don't end up playing this as a teaser spot.
And no Racy McMath, so obviously more touches for Henry.
That's true. No Racy McMath, so we already know Derrick Henry is going to have a full workload.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got here.
All right. We got one game left, boys.
Yep. Last but not least, Ravens at Saints. Lou, lead us off.
I'm going to be against you guys on this one. I can already tell. I'm going to play the Saints outright. Playing a money line at plus 120. I will say this for anybody watching: Baltimore has just taken my money all year. I cannot figure this goddamn team out. Like they should win all these games, and then they don't. Like even the Cleveland game, they made it dicey. They just make these games so weirdly dicey. How do you beat the Saints? You throw on them. Their secondary is just beat up. It's not that good. Well, Ravens can't throw the ball right now. They're running the T formation. Like that's all they can really do with their injuries right now. New Orleans can stop the run. I mean, that's the only thing New Orleans can do is the run unit is decent. On the flip side, I don't know who's playing quarterback. I think Jameis is healthy now, but they're like, look, I think they're just sticking with Dalton because the offense has been flowing better. I still don't think. I mean, I don't know what the receiver situation is yet. Michael Thomas still isn't back. Is Landry even coming back? Like, I feel like these guys should be any week now. Olave's looked good. Kamara had, of course I went against him in like daily fan. Of course, I don't have this guy when he goes off, but Kamara needed that. Maybe that's a jump start for him. It's in the dome. It's loud. It's a tough place to play. This line is begging you to take Baltimore. Like Vegas just is begging you to hit them. So I'm going to go contrarian here. I'm going to take the Saints to win what I think could actually be like a really fun game. And if you like the over here, I wouldn't put you off it either.
Fair enough. Even though you thought you were going to be against me, I'm on the Saints. I'll take the 2.5 though. I would like the extra insurance. I just like how the Saints have been playing lately. Overall, their defense has stepped up. The rushing attack is freaking phenomenal, and Andy Dalton is just like the second coming of freaking Joe Burrow with an offensive line. He's throwing really accurately, even to these. I'm not going to say no-name wide receivers, but no-name wide receivers, and the dude is able to launch the ball downfield at a pretty high clip, and they're able to get these yards for pretty easy. Now, the only way I think the Ravens win here is if they blow them out. I do not see that happening. I know they just got Roquan Smith. I don't know how active he's going to be in the game, but if he is active, it might pose a little bit of a problem to guys like Kamara. But to be honest, I can't be on the Baltimore Ravens here. They haven't shown me too much in the past couple of weeks to be inspired of the way they're playing. Give me the Saints. They're a gritty team, and they can score in many ways versus Baltimore, who virtually cannot pass the ball, and against a really good rush defense in the past couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm all over the Saints here. Gordo.
Yeah, I actually am also taking the side of the Saints. However, the one where I will get different is I'm going to play probably the under in the spot. I don't think it's going to be the same offensive masterpiece that you may be alluding to here, Lou. I do think that is going to be a spot where probably the Ravens just struggle to go offensively because they are a running team, and especially with the way that Andrews looked, and then Bateman getting his ghost 0. It's not one where they have too many assets out there, and they just haven't been looking great. So I think it's two very the team with more weapons, the team with more security is probably the Saints, and for that reason, I was going to buy the point, taking +3. But we'll have to see how this line ends up. One more thing, if I could ask, I know this is what I got myself into when I drafted Michael Thomas, but I would love if he actually played a game. That'd be great.
I mean, he plays just for Cincinnati, and he's different,
Yes,
and he stinks.
Hey,
I'm
that's
so
that's
happy.
Mike Thomas.
Mike Thomas, Michael Jackson, Mike Jackson. Come on, dude. Come on.
I'm so happy. He played first game, put up 22 points, and where has he been?
So before I do a
Yeah.
recap of the bets, can I give my quick hitters for college?
Oh yeah, the floor is all yours, Lou.
Quick hitters for college, not much exposition. I'm taking Tulsa -6.5, or Tulane -6.5 at Tulsa. I just like the way they're playing. UNC -6.5. They're trying to make Drake May. They're pushing her to the Heisman. Virginia just cannot score. So at some point, I think under a touchdown is great. They're 7.5 by the point. Clemson -3.5. I hate Notre Dame. They suck. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball against Clemson. I think Clemson's great, but 3.5 is in a primetime spot. They're just begging you to take Notre Dame. I think Clemson kind of pulls away late. Oregon first half -18.5. I'm an Oregon truther. I'm a Bo Nix truther. Colorado is so bad this year. Oregon came out of the block slow last week. They came on strong in the second half. I think they come on strong here after the slow start last week, and then maybe to pull their foot off the gas. The number is like 33.5. I don't want any part of it. I'll take the 18.5. And finally, I'm going to take the goddamn bait. I've been betting Tennessee all year. No reason to stop now. I'm taking Tennessee to cover the 8.5. I'm taking a poke on the money line at +250. I know this is a trap. I know the sharps are on Georgia. I get it. I just don't care because I think Tennessee can put up a lot of points in this game. And Georgia honestly plays at such a slow pace and runs the ball so much. I know they have a vertical passing game. It's pretty underrated. Stetson Bennett's been pretty good this year, but I'm so excited for this game too. It's like we never get 1 versus 2 anymore in college football. So it's not just a big game it's a big game to see who's going to make the conference title game and play Bama or LSU. If LSU wins, it's another huge game. It's the Heisman. If Tennessee wins, Hendon Hooker has won the Heisman. So if you want to put a bet on Hooker to win the Heisman, and as Wiz knows, love me some Hooker, -110 right now on DraftKings to bet him to win the Heisman. It's the best number you're going to get. If he has even a decent game and they don't win, he's going to become the runaway favorite because, it's going to be him or Stroud, as much as I like Bo Nix. Here is the recap for us. For the Thursday night game, I have the second quarter -4. I have the Gainwell +310 touchdown and +1400 last touchdown. Wiz playing the A.J. Brown props over 69.5 receiving yards, over 25 longest receiving prop. Gordo also had suggested the over on the longest receiving prop as well. I do not believe, and you're leaning toward the under, but no strong inclination on your end. Green Bay, I'm on the under. Gordo like the team total under, and Wiz is thinking about playing the under. That's what we had on that one. Buffalo game, Wiz is taking the over 14.5. Bills team total. I still think Zach Wilson stinks, and Gordo is going to watch his boys just play. Miami, Chicago, Gordo and I are on the over, and he is on the Tua over 1.5 passing touchdowns at -150, which I like. Wiz, no definitive bets on this game at the moment. Minnesota, shoey bet, where all three of us are involved, and I really hope Gordo just eats it on the exact push that it will take on -3. Wiz is on -3. Gordo is on the over. I am on no bet for the game except the shoey. Chargers and the ATL. Gordo is on the over. I am on Atlanta covering the spread. And Wiz is on the Josh Palmer overs on his receiving props. And that's that one. Indy, New England, we universally passed. Las Vegas, Jacksonville. Gordo is going to play the Engram over. Wiz and I are completely off that game. Carolina, Cincinnati. Wiz is going to play the Brian Burns prop of 2+ sacks. I'm going to play the team total sacks. We all kind of leaned Carolina, but nobody's making a play on this game. Seattle, Arizona. We are all on this game in really different ways. I'm on Seattle money line. Wiz is taking the 2 points, and Gordo leans on the over. And Wiz also mentioned that he's going to do the same game teaser, taking Seattle above the key number of 7 and the over on the point total. We all passed on Rams Tampa Bay. I took Tennessee plus 12.5. I can't say I loved it. Nobody else really had a strong opinion on this one. And somehow we are all on the Saints, and Gordo has a lean to the under. And that's your recap from today's show. Now on to Chad with weather.
Do I get to talk about Canadian college football?
No.
Is that a thing? Does it exist?
It exists. It's actually the Ontario University semifinals this weekend, where my university team is playing. But honestly, I have no idea. I've watched one game and I was absolutely plastered for it. So if you can't bet on it, where's the fun?
Well, Gordo,
thanks
for coming on the show. This has been a little reminiscent of our War Room days. So hopefully we get to do this a lot more. Lou, thank you for the recap at the end. That was really helpful. I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers are going to appreciate you for that. Looking forward to another week of us crushing it as usual. Gordo, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, thank you for letting me come on the show. I love doing these videos with you guys. Both you guys, absolute beauties. They're just as nice off camera, but even better looking on camera, though. Just the lighting.
This is crazy.
Great. Yeah. Before I talk about where I am a UFC guy first, and I want to shout out all the content these boys have put up for UFC, because I'm kind of taking this week off from a betting perspective in terms of the content. Like I can't bring myself to do any betting content for UFC 64. So instead, my DFS video is on my channel. You can check that out at Plays and Fade Sports. That is the only content I'm doing this week. I'll do a write-up for my lock of the night, post all that, my bets, but I'm going to focus on UFC 281. And I would love to have you beautiful folks with me for UFC 281. I know we talked about it. I think it'll happen. I love making content with you guys. I love talking fights, love talking football. You guys are gems. But you can find me at Plays and Fade Sports, DFS video there. You can find me on Twitter at GamblesGordo. Feel free to slide in the DMs. Love talking fights, love talking sports, and go Bills.
Lou, close us out.
Well, this is the third piece of content I did today. So if you really do want to see more of my Goya Shapunim, as the Jewish faith would tell you, as my grandmother would tell you, I'm still not sure if she was Jewish or not. I just know she liked to say that. I did a show with Kyle Marley today, breaking down DFS over on DFS Army. Pretty cool working with Mr. Marley. And then I do my own prop show. I've been usually doing it Wednesdays now, and they're just having fun at my expense, I guess. With this kid, the Propaholic, I gave him his debut on YouTube today, and he was a little stoned, he was a little nervous, and he came through. Did a great job. He's a gem. He's definitely stoned. He's like, "You think they'll notice?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, I think they'll notice. I could smell it. Like, they'll notice. But he did a really good job. That was fun breaking it down. That's on the MMA Engine channel. And then every Friday at 5:30 with Monk, kind of a variety show at this point. I don't even know if it's a betting show. It's just me doing stand-up and probably drunk. And Monk trying to hold it together and tell you who to look roster in your lineups. And that's how we take you into the weekend. But next week I will have I'm going to announce this on the show. I have a special guest next week. I don't usually do Tuesday shows. I'm doing a Tuesday UFC 281 pay-per-view breakdown with somebody I've never worked with. Should I tell you or no?
Please.
Eric Betts Fights said there's 2 people that I need to work with in my time. One of them is Bert. The other one will be on the MMA Engine channel next Tuesday. And that's Mike's MMA picks.
Ooh.
Nice.
Lou and Mike going to break down. I've been practicing my diction. I've been making sure everything I say is perfect.
You've been practicing your addiction?
Diction. To make sure everything's perfect. And him and I will be breaking it down sometime Tuesday on the MMA Engine channel. And we got a Cody Brundage interview coming up. And you may have one too soon if he can work it out in the schedule. Obviously, we are the priority. since he only wins when he talks to us.
That's fair. That's fair. Tomorrow, guys, I'm gonna have Eric Betts fights on personality pick.
Let's go.
If you missed last week's episode, I interviewed Damon Jackson, UFC featherweight. So go ahead and check that out on the channel. And yeah, looking forward to bringing on some more high-profile guests. Cody Brundage is in the works, as Lou mentioned, and I have a couple of other UFC fighters down the pipeline. So looking forward to that. But this is the show. Thanks for, I was about to say shopping. I'm so used to being at work right now. Thanks for hopping on and thanks for supporting the channel. We really appreciate it. It goes a long way. And we'll be back next week. As always, see ya!